All right, now you see when you're on a free range system, it's just an issue of some slight supplementation. So these are cheap mechanisms of now using available resources. So you have the structure, then you just have a place where you can put the hay, for instance. You realize that sometimes there might be rain or there's some dew on the grass. So while they're relaxing to wait till the 11 a.m. because you don't want to have goats that are not supplemented. So this one can be like bites. For the kids, they say urban bites. So you can put like a bale of hay here and another bale of hay here. So because now when you're looking at breeding animals, they are not supposed to be fat. Because the layer itself, when you're looking at the condition, you don't want a fat breeding doe, female. Because the moment it's fat, then you'll have minimal chances of reproduction. So that is now on the aspect of evaluating body conditioning of a goat. So a satisfied goat will not make noise. Even your neighbor will not know that you have goats. But a goat that has not fed, okay, you realize that it is unsettled. Ni kama tu vile tumbo inanguruma. So it's the same principle. That's why I say start small. This is not an expensive thing. So you just use the available resources when it comes to infrastructure. If you want a group of school farming, do it in year 3. This was my third structure. I began with a chicken house because now I had a structure. So the aspect of minimizing cost of starting, you realize like here, you see this was my third structure. In fact, the fourth structure. I have like 5 structures. You see, this one is raised. Why the height here, ordinarily, it's supposed to be 4 feet from the ground, ordinarily. However, where I am, there's a lot of cold from the river. So the higher you go, the cooler it becomes. So you cannot have a standardized structure just for the purposes of copying. You saw somewhere and you are copying it. You're supposed to customize the knowledge you acquire online. Now, here is another structure where this particular structure is the one I'm explaining. Using available materials. So these are recycled drums. Very tight. Hata fisi hapa kuingia is a little bit tricky. You get? So let no one cheat you that a raised structure is now the only solution. Because for me, I'll say permanent structures are important, but it should be a structure that can do your purpose depending on which tier of farming are you in. So there's tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, which I'll be able to explain what I mean by tier 1. So for tier 1, for me, if I was to start, I just do something basic because I don't know anything about goats. So I don't want to spend on a structure almost $500,000 for 100 goat structure. That $500,000, it's better I have a structure like this, which can be around like 16 feet, because I'm looking at putting it in faces. And in faces means blocking the areas that have heavy direct wind. So the direction that there's a strong wind, that is the part now you ensure you just block that side. However, you realize I've not taken it up to the top. Why? Because of circulation. So you don't need a structure that is too closed, because there's the pneumonia aspect. So you're just blocking direct wind. So something up to around like 5 feet. 5 feet will be the ideal height. Then from here, I'm trying to avoid external factors, which can be, let's say there's a cheetah or a hyena or stuff, especially leopard and cheetah. But now at least there's that aspect of controlling intrusiveness. So that's why for structures, start with what you can. I think you have seen that structure. That structure was now my second structure. I'll call it my pilot structure. I love it because this is where I designed this house from scratch, whereby I said, I don't want my goats to sleep down. Then the beauty about farming is that with time, you gain certain expertise and customize. Now, as you can feel, at the moment as we are speaking, you will feel some little bit of wind. It's coming from the riverside. A cold breeze. Now, that cold breeze, what I had done, I had done pure ventilation and spacing the wood. However, I experienced pneumonia cases. So the moment I experienced pneumonia cases, I had to adapt. Nothing fanciful, as I said. I just picked some reject mabatis. I closed because now this one was affecting the goats because I had more pneumonia incidents. The more pneumonia incidents, it means it eats into your profit. More antibiotics means more losses. When you manage antibiotics, it means the profit margin, money goes to the right areas. If it is supplementation, if it's nutrition. So that is now the aspect of when it comes to a structure, customize the structure depending with your climate. So you don't just design because there's designing. If I'm in an area which is a very hot area, I'll go with this. If I'm in Mombasa myself, I'll go with this. However, there's a twist to this structure. It's not a normal structure. You realize that it has some hinges here. It has some hinges. So the margin is going against my rule, that the one I said about 4 feet. Yes. However, why is it going against my range? According to the Indian journal, some of us, we just design structures, but we don't know what's the genesis of the height. So according to the Indian journal, if you're doing zero grazing, it means that goat is spending more time at that particular point. So the fecal, choo ya mbuzi itakaa sana hapa. Akikaa hapa sana, the more you stay there, it means the dung aspect increases. The urination rate increases. However, if you're on free range like me, it means just some few hours to sleep. During the day, they're not here. So that's why now, because of the cold that I had explained to you, because I was trying to do customization to minimize cost of production, as well as minimizing effects of expensive structure. That's why for me, I don't just preach online on expensive structures. This is what I do. It's like low budget, but these goats are not, they will not be dirty because there's a range. Now, this one you can open it up. Then you do the sweeping. Yes. But now, again from this one, I have another model number 3, which I'll be able to share with you in future. Yes. Once I work on it, I'll show you. There's another way. I've come up with another model, yes, which is better than this one. So that's why I was saying, when it comes to structures, know your climate and know which breeds are you keeping. Yes. So someone who is doing, like if someone is in Limuru, I was having a client in Limuru, he says he really loves goats. Then I said, from a consultant perspective, if I'm you, I'll not put goats there. Unless alpine goats, for instance, some dairy goats that are used to that climate, because in Nakuru has different, like in Baringo, goats do well, especially goats do well in Baringo, because that side of Baringo is a hot area, a dry and hot area. So if you're in a region that is experiencing similar climatic conditions, goats will do well. Now, Limuru, cold areas, Limuru, Kericho, not the lower side towards Kisumu, but the upper side. Those ones, just do some Dopa and Hampshires. Don't fight against climate. Yes. You never win. Yes. If you fight against climate, yes, you never win. It ends up in 2 things. Mm-hmm. Number 1, drip in hospital, and number 2, losses. Yes. Oh, and number 3, depression. So you don't want to be depressed, because that's why you hear some people saying farming should be among 1,000 ways to die. Yes. Why? Because farmers don't want to invest in knowledge. Yes. They want free things. So when you say free things, is that you realize that someone even just parting away with some few coins to be able to get hands-on experience. It's because you see, like this one, like you here, you have been able to see a walkthrough and a personalized touch and the discussions that we had. Yes. Why? Show me a school, show me a university degree that you can pay 10,000 and receive wealth of experience of over 7 years or 8 years. Show me a school. Yes. No school. Now, you want, the funny thing of a farmer is that there's a principle called school fees. Yes. Now, for school fees, it means, number 1, you dodge doing your research. Yes. Can be desktop research. That's where internet, YouTube, to be able to know which farmers are farming what you want. After that, now there's the investment part. Investment means you have to invest not on yourself, to invest on yourself and your staff. Yes. So if you attend a training by yourself and you say, I've attended this training, let's say in Laikipia. Yes. It was a very nice meeting, and you floss to other friends of yours that I want to start this goat business. But now the resources, the guys on the ground themselves are not there. There was no knowledge transfer from your training to the farm hand.
At the end of the day, you're probably not the one taking care of the goats. So, goat master, we cannot be at the goat master's farm
Yes.
and not talk about genetics.
Yes, yes.
So, as usual, you are known for galas, boars,
Yes.
savannas,
Yes.
and the science behind breeding this local
Yeah.
with exotic, right?
Yes, yes.
However,
Yeah.
I'm seeing some local Maasai.
Yeah, so today for this unit, I do some slight adjustments.
Yes, yes.
So like for the boas, I do them from a different section.
Yes.
So, but now you realize that the ones that look nice have caught your eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like this one, this particular goat here is a Maasai. This one is a Maasai. The other one is also a Maasai goat. Then for purposes of explanation, this one is a boa, the one with the bell. It's a boa. So I've put in. So today is more of a walk-through journey. So the walk-through journey means we need to be able to understand the same way we have just explained about environment. Number two, you have to understand genetics, and with genetics, you can never fight genetics. That is something farmers need to know. So there's usually a battle between should I buy a boa goat, should I buy a Maasai goat, should I buy a Gala goat, or why are you importing? You see, most of these guys, they have a discussion of why are you importing? Why are you? So let me just explain why we import. In South Africa, their farmers are more advanced. The advancement comes because they work together. There is knowledge sharing. We have goat clubs there. So if you are breeding Savannah, you associate yourself with the Savannah goat breeders. If you're doing Red Kalahari, there's a Red Kalahari goat breeders. Okay? Now, boas, the same applies to boas. Now, why are these guys thriving? They're investing in record keeping, they're investing in genetics, they have auctions where now you can go and have some bravado of what you have done, and people wanakupea kongole bana, wasema umepiga kazi. So that is why now in my science, in research of, my target was meat goats. That is now my overall farm objective and strategy. So what I did, I began with like even this ones. You see this one? It's a very good female, Maasai, pure Maasai. And this one is a kid cross. This one is a kid of cross of Maasai and a Gala. Okay. Now I will show you this one. This one is a crossbreed of boa. Is a crossbreed of boa and a Maasai. Okay. So some of these sciences you cannot be able to know if you have not tested a pool of genetics.